Hi everybody, Ash here from the Charity Gaming Guild, bringing you a video that answers a question that I get asked all the time, which is how the charity came about and what we actually do. So if you're fundraising for one of our big 12-hour events, or you're just doing something to support us and you want to tell people a little bit about what we do and how we came to be, this is the video to direct them to. So if you haven't already, before I start, I'm going to give you a few seconds to click the like button down below, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you're notified whenever we upload our next video. So, the charity, how did it happen? How did it come into being? Well, this is a very personal story for me that I'm going to share with all of you now, and it's a story that our regular members have heard over and over and over again, and are probably sick to the back teeth of hearing about. So, here we go. We're going to step back in time before COVID. My granddad was very, very unwell. He had pancreatic cancer and was being cared for in St Elizabeth's Hospice in Ipswich in Suffolk, where I live. Now, unfortunately, he did pass away, but the care that hospice provided was amazing. It was a friendly, nice place to be where he could keep his dignity in those last few days of his life, and where the family could go and see him in an environment that wasn't a hospital. That hospice do amazing work, and I would encourage you to go and Google St Elizabeth's Hospice Ipswich and have a look at the fantastic work they do. I decided shortly after that I wanted to give something back to the hospice, and so I arranged a 12-hour charity game, and I thought I would have 5 or 6 people maybe come together and perhaps raise £300 to £400 to give to St Elizabeth's Hospice. I was overwhelmed by the response that I got to that very first game. I had over 60 people want to be a part of that game. It was amazing. The response I received was phenomenal, and I was very excited to see how much we could actually raise. Knowing that there were 60 people out there who wanted to come together and be a part of this and support St Elizabeth's Hospice was absolutely incredible. So I realised I can't run a game of Dungeons and Dragons for 60 people all on my own, and so I reached out to enlist the help of a couple of other DMs, knowing full well I couldn't accommodate all 60 people. One of those DMs is still with us today, and that DM is Chris. Chris has been a part of the charity since its very inception, since before we were even called the Charity Gaming Guild. Chris has been a fantastic support to the charity, running lots and lots of games, and is someone that I know that you all know. And we were all getting geared up to run this phenomenal game of Dungeons & Dragons. We had a table each, myself, Chris and Connor, who was the other guy. And COVID happened. And unfortunately, we had to put a stop on everything. There was no charity game. We had to postpone that. But we decided in that moment that we needed to continue to build this community. And so we stepped over to a virtual platform. Chris ran the Isles of Time campaign, and I started a Company of Fate and Malicious Divinity as well, and these games grew and grew and grew. It was about this time that we decided that Dungeons and Dragons charity game was not really very catchy and needed to change our name to something a little bit better and a little bit more in keeping with what we do. I realised at this time that there was a massive market for what we were doing, and so I realised that we were going to be running events way beyond what I ever anticipated, and so we rebranded ourselves the Charity Gaming Guild, and we found that logo. We didn't find it, I drew it. That red logo, that circular logo that is synonymous with us now as our main logo. Connor decided that this was getting a little bit bigger than what he thought it was originally going to be, which was absolutely fine. So he stepped away from the charity, and one of my good friends, Andy, stepped in and was doing some bits and pieces as well. As COVID ended, we then were able to run that very first 12-hour game for St Elizabeth's Hospice. That first ever game was Azrael Sundering, and if you go into our YouTube videos, you'll find a video about Azrael Sundering and what actually happened during that adventure. I wanted to take a step back from running the tables at that time, realising that because this is getting bigger, we're going to need some social media presence, and we're going to need to promote what we do. We want to grow things and build things, and that meant, unfortunately, I stepped away from running a table for Azrael Sunderin, and in my place was Nathan. Nathan is still part of the charity today. He is one of our War Council DMs alongside Andy, Chris and others, and they continue to run games for us and help build our charity world of the All Havens. We ran that game and raised over £1,200 for St Elizabeth's Hospice, and I was beaming with pride to send them that money. It was phenomenal. Once we'd done that, it was time to look to the future and what was next for Charity Gaming Guild, and the next big thing was to actually become a registered charity. That was no easy task. We had to jump through hoop after hoop after hoop, reassuring the Charities Commission that we're not just fundraising and giving the money away, but we're a grant awarding charity. That meant we needed a membership, meant we needed structure, meant we needed trustees as well, and all of this fell into place to make the Charity Gaming Guild the charity that you see today. So from humble beginnings of running just one game for 5 or 6 people to raise a few £100s, we are now a world encompassing charity. We have people who travel to our November games from Canada. We've had someone flying from Singapore, and people from all over the United Kingdom come to us to play some amazing games of Dungeons and Dragons. And we're continuing to grow. We're running more and more events, and our grant pot gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And we've got some incredible things planned for the future. Where the charity is going to be 10 years from now, I've got no idea. All I know is it's going to be bigger and it's going to be better, and we're going to give more money to more charities. So how does us giving that money actually work? What do we actually do? Well, what happened is our members get together and they nominate charities to the trustees before a date that we set on our calendar. We call it our pre-AGM date, which is a meeting for the trustees ahead of our annual general meeting every year. As part of our annual general meeting, every trustee who has had a charity nominated to them by a member will bring that charity to that meeting, and we will look at it and we assess to make sure that they are a registered charity with the Charities Commission. That's very, very important. But then we look at which charities we can have the biggest impact on. Our grant awards started at £1,200, and last year we awarded over £6,000 to the mix. This year we're on track to give at least £4,500 to this year's nominated charity, which is ADAPT. In the future, those grant awards may get bigger, but the way we decide on that is we need to make sure that we donate the money to a charity and make a difference, have an impact with that charity. So once we've assessed all of that, we shortlist the charities and make sure we've got the ones that we want, and then the trustees vote on one charity to be our beneficiary charity for the next 12 months. We then move forward to the annual general meeting, which every single member is invited to, and we run online as well. You can also watch back our annual general meetings if you're a member through our Discord server. There's a link to where those meetings are actually stored. And we present that charity to our members. The next 12 months is full of gaming activity to build up a grant award pot to give to that charity in the December of that year. So our members drive who we give the money to. Our members pick the charities that matter most to them, and we try and have as big an impact as we possibly can. As the founder of the Charity Gaming Guild, I am incredibly proud of what we have built as a community. I'm incredibly proud of every single person who does anything for the charity. Whether you're a trustee, volunteering at the highest level for us, making decisions that change the way the charity runs, or even if you're just a member and pay £3 a month to be a member and play the odd game every now and again, or even if you're not a member and you still come along to our events and join in, I'm incredibly proud of every single person. And if you want to make a difference, if you want to support charities that really do have a big impact on communities that matter to you, I would ask you to go and visit patreon.com/CharityDND and support us at whatever level you can. The lowest level of support is just £3 a month, and it makes such a massive difference to what we do. It's huge. Obviously, you can join in with as many or as few events as you like, but the more you join in with, the more you know about our world, and the more you get out of those narrative arcs. I constantly say to people, the more you join in with us, the more you'll get out of the games. And that's because I run a thread through all of the games, tying everything together into this nice big narrative which you can all enjoy. And more importantly, you can all have an impact on our Dungeons and Dragons games. Of course, if you want to raise money for us, and that's not playing Dungeons and Dragons, perhaps you're a Magic the Gathering player or a Warhammer player, or there's a board game you particularly like and you want to arrange your own fundraising event, get in touch with us. Drop us an email, charitygamingguild@gmail.com, or head over to the Discord server, which the link is in the description below, and just pop a message in there, and one of the trustees will come back to you and will support you in running that event. We are incredibly proud of our community, we're incredibly proud of what we do, and we want you to be a part of it. So please come and join the Charity Gaming Guild today, support what we do, and really make a difference to the communities that matter to you.